Orders in the 13th paragraph of the email. He made his decision after meeting with Romney on Friday. Santorum says the two men agree that Obama must be defeated. Santorum dropped out of the Republican race last month. Political Buzz is your rapid-fire look at the best political topics of the day. 3 questions, 30 seconds on the clock. Playing with us today, Democratic strategist Robert Zimmerman and Republican strategist Ron Bonjean. Welcome to both of you.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Good morning. First question, big primary day in Indiana. The longest-serving Republican in the Senate, Dick Lugar of Indiana, is down double digits to a challenger who has Tea Party backing. CNN Soledad O'Brien asked Lugar about the race.
We've had a very vigorous campaign, but essentially the bulk of the money being spent in the campaign has been by so-called outside interests. And people have run negative ads for millions of dollars, not only the super PACs, but various well-known organizations. Having said all of that, I believe that Hoosiers will, in fact, vote for me today.
Oh, but he's lagging in the polls. 36 years in the Senate could be gone after today. What does this tell you about the GOP in 2012, Ron?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's going, you know, if Dick Lugar loses, it'll be sad to see him go. However, Indiana is going to remain solid Republican. It is most likely going to go to Romney in November, and there's really nothing to worry about here. But, you know, it just shows you the polarization of politics, that more, you know, hardline conservatives are defeating more of the moderates, and we're going to have more partisanship in the years to come in Congress.
Robert.
You know, Ron makes a very important point when he talks about the polarization of the process. This isn't so much a story about the Republican Party in 2012. It's a story about the nature of our political process today, where the nominees for both parties, my party, the Democratic Party, and the Republican Party, are truly controlled by ultimately super PACs and by the extreme polarization, the extreme fringe of either party. That's due to reapportionment and due to the nature of the discourse. So therefore, concepts like negotiation and compromise are ultimately the victims. If Dick Lugar loses, it's a sad day for the nation.
Okay, on to the second question. Mitt Romney and the auto bailout. In 2008, Romney famously wrote that Detroit should just go bankrupt. Fast forward to 2012, Romney now says this.
The auto companies needed to go through bankruptcy before government help. And frankly, that's finally what the president did. He finally took them through bankruptcy. That was the right course I argued for from the very beginning. It was the UAW and the president that delayed the idea of bankruptcy. I pushed the idea of a managed bankruptcy. And finally, when that was done and help was given, the companies got back on their feet. So I'll take a lot of credit for the fact that this industry's come back.
Spokesman for President Obama accuses Romney of sinking to a new low in dishonesty, even for him. Ouch. So, can Romney really take credit for Detroit's comeback? Robert?
You know, the first rule, I think Ron would agree with me, the first rule in politics is that when you go on the attack or when you try to take credit for a project or try to make a charge, you have to be personally credible. And Romney not only embarrasses himself by this attempt, but he really hurts his credibility on so many issues. The very fact that he was opposed to the actual bailout that took place. The only reason GM and Chrysler went into forced bankruptcy is because of the federal guaranteed loans that were provided, that George W. Bush and President Obama supported. So it really, he just embarrasses himself with that kind of charge.
Ron.
Well, I think what Romney is saying is that he was against the millions of dollars in for a sweetheart union deal instead of a more responsible restructuring deal. And that, you know, Romney was pressuring the administration along with a lot of Republicans into having a managed bankruptcy process. And I think that's what you're seeing Mitt Romney trying to say here. But this is about Democrats who are trying to nationalize health care, trying to nationalize the financial sector, trying to nationalize the auto industry. And that's just not where Republicans want to see the country go.
Okay, on to question number 3, your buzzer beater, 20 seconds each. Members of Congress are richer, way richer than you and me, with a median net worth of $878,500. Democratic lawmakers are actually worth more than 9 times the typical American household in 2010. Not bad for the party that positions itself as a defender of the middle class. So given this information, can Democrats honestly make Romney's wealth an issue? Ron?
Not at all. That's what's hilarious about this. It's actually rather shocking how much Democrat lawmakers are actually worth. And you take President Obama. He's worth millions of dollars due to book deals. You have Democrats in the Senate who are worth millions of dollars as well. And like you said, the average is hundreds of thousands of dollars for Democratic lawmakers. It just shows you that this whole warfare against the middle class versus those who have too much is all a bunch of bunk.
Robert.
Well, my first concern, Carol and Ron, is why are all these Democratic House and Senate members worth all this money calling me for donations all the time? That's my greatest concern. But on to your point, the reality is that I don't think we have to pass the hat for Republican House and Senate members either. The bigger issue is not his wealth, but the fact that Mitt Romney keeps opposing programs for the middle class, like student loans, like cutting Medicare for future retirees, like education opportunities and loans for small business.
All right.
Thanks for letting me go over.
I did. I just wanted you to finish your sentence. You know I'm a polite kind of gal. Thanks for playing, Ron and Robert.
Thank you.
Have you ever thought about, you're welcome. Have you ever thought about where the glass on your smartphones come from? Chances are it's made right here in America.